Now we'll discuss important questions for the magnetostatics. So very important thing is what are the applications? So always applications of the magnetostatics. So those applications are also important. Okay, how we are going to use the magnetostatics. So here magnetostatics. So name itself is what? Aesthetics. So when we have current is going to flow through any charge, current is going to flow through the wire, not charge. When current is going to flow through any conductor, so around this conductor it creates the magnetic field. On the basis of that, we have many discussion. Very important thing is about Bio-Savart's law. It can be objective questions also as well as long questions also. So what is the statement of the Bio-Savart's law? So this is the magnetic field intensity H is proportional to the product of ideal and sine alpha and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the differential element and the point. So on the basis of that, we have dH is proportional to the ideal sine alpha by r square. So finally, we can write dH equal to K into ideal sine alpha by r square, where K is the proportionality constant. And this differential field intensity we can write in the form of vector form. So A cross B, we know that it is the AB sine theta. So on the basis of that, we can write ideal cross AR. AR is the unit vector here, and AR is R by modulus of the R. So finally, we have different situation in case of line current, surface current, volume current. In this different situation, we are able to find the applications of the Bio-Savart's law. Okay, so mainly these are the discussion how this Bio-Savart's law is going to get the expression, and we have different situations. So this is very important questions. These are the also important question for the external exam point of view. So now we are having Ampere-Circuitus law. So this Ampere-Circuitus law is also important. Okay, so for the midterm examination point of view. So Ampere-Circuitus law. So what is the statement here? That line integral of the field intensity equal to the current enclosed. So like in case of electrostatics, we are taking the Gaussian path. Here we have to take the Amperian path to find the magnetic field intensity. So how we are going to prove this? So for that, we are going to take the help of Stokes theorem. So Stokes theorem says that line integral of a vector equal to the surface integral of the curl of that vectors. So on the basis of that, here if you see that how we are going to compare the equation 2 and 3. So finally, this LHS is same. So RHS also must be same. So that's why when it will be same, when del cross H equal to J. So this is the Maxwell third equation. So here it is provided that this density should not be equal to 0. So it shows that del cross H equal to J. That means magnetic field is the non-conservative. It is not conservatives. And we have applications of the Maxwell application of the Ampere's law. So these all Maxwell equations are always important, either in the differential form or Maxwell equation in case of integral form. So in this both situation, it is the important. And what is the Ampere-Circuitus law and its proof? This is the important here. So next we'll have discussion here about next topic, which is magnetic flux density. So magnetic flux density is also important here. So it can be 1 marks question. So magnetic flux density here B equal to mu naught H. So it is defined as the force per unit current element. So you have to define the one line definition and you have to write the expression B equal to mu naught H. Okay. And mu naught is the permittivity. So that is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Henry per meter. So again, we have this discussion, magnetic flux and all this, okay? And this is very important here, Maxwell equation for a static field in differential form and integral form. So del dot D equal to rho B, we have seen earlier, Maxwell equation, and del cross E equal to 0, and del dot B equal to 0, and del cross H equal to J. So these two are from the magnetostatics, these two are from the electrostatics in the differential form. Similarly, we have integral form, and how we are getting this is from the Gauss law, and this last one is from the Ampere's law. So this table is very, very important. Okay, Maxwell equations. So next we have another important question here. So now we are discussing only for the midpoint of beam. Next, we have force due to magnetic field. So we have force due to magnetic field in the situation of the charge particle. Okay, so three different situation is there. So this is the force in case of electrostatic, or you can say that in case of stationary charge, then electric field will be E, then F equal to Q into E. So Q is the positive, so positive we can write the sign. If you have negative, we will write the so negative as per that. Okay, and by the polarization, we have seen that how positive and negative charge carriers are going to align when electric field is being applied. And magnetic force Q U cross B. Q U is the velocity. Okay. So finally, and if you try to find the so what is the concept here? This magnetic force is perpendicular to the charge velocity U and magnetic field B. So it is U cross B here. So Fm cannot perform the work since it is the perpendicular to the motion. So work is what? F into ds. So finally ds means here displacement. So it is dl here, Fm into dl. So finally both are having perpendicular to each other. Okay. So finally that cos 90 degrees is the zero. So Fm into dl is going to be zero. So this Fm is the very small in compared to Fe. So total force is Fe plus Fm. It will substitute the value. This is also called as the Lorentz force equation. F equal to Q into E plus U cross B. Again, we have force on the current element. So again, you are going to use the concept of the current density here. And this is the different situations, volume, charge, and line. Again, on the basis of that, we have ideal equal to dq into E. So for this already separate lecture is there. So this is just, I'm going to recap fast. So you can see that separate video. So dF equal to ideal cross B, and if you integrate both sides, if you get the force. So this is the force, okay, in case of current element. If you have force between two current elements, so here we have taken differential part I1 dl1 and here I2 dl2, and you see the direction of the current here is important. Then we have df1 I1 dl1 cross dv2. So by using the Biot-Savart's law, we can write the flux density. Okay, B equal to mu h. So you have all the h values. Then substitute both values here. Okay, and the total force means we have two line integral over L1 and L2. So after that, here we have very important thing is about boundary condition. So both boundary conditions are important, electrostatic boundary condition as well as magnetostatic boundary condition. So here we have dielectric. This is now we are talking about electrostatic boundary conditions. So, in case of dielectric boundary conditions, here we have surface interface in both side medium 1, medium 2, having epsilon 1, epsilon 2 as the value here. So epsilon is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. So here we have normal component and tangential component of electric field as well as electric flux density. So here differential path is considered here. So on this path, we are going to apply we are trying to find the potential. When you are moving the direction of normal, positive, if you are moving opposite to the direction of normal component or tangential component, you have to write the negative. Similarly, in this part also. So later we'll see that tangential component of the electric field intensity is the conservative and normal component of the electric flux density is the conservative. So here now main thing is important how we are writing the expression, and total potential is going to be zero or sum of that. So E1T del W. Okay. So here we are moving along the direction. If it is you are moving in the direction of tangent or normal components, okay, then it will be the same. Like here, for this portion, A to B, tangential component, both are same direction. So positive. Here, it is this portion is del h by 2. We are moving against the normal component, so minus. Here again, we are moving against the normal component in the medium 2, so again minus. Here we are moving against the tangential component, so again minus. Here moving in the same direction of the normal component, so positive. Here also positive. Okay. So like this, we are going to move on this path. So after that, if you see that this normal components are going to cancel, so only tangential components we have here. So this E1t equal to E2t if that height of that portion is very small. So here we are seeing that tangential components on the both sides or it is same at the interface. So that it shows that tangential component is continuous and no charge. So now again we have this one we can write for the flux density D equal to epsilon A. So on the D equal to epsilon into E. Okay. So this one we are knowing from the starting one. So again, similarly, we have tangential components, normal components. All this discussion is here. So finally, we can write, we have E1t equal to E2t. So normal component, we'll see later. So first tangential component of, so what we are saying that tangential component of electric field is the continuous, but not for the flux density. So now if you see the second part of the diagram, from there we have D1n minus D2n equal to rho s and no free charge exists at the interface. That is the charge density is 0. So finally normal component of the flux density is going to be equal at the interface. So again we can write for that electric field intensity also. And this is the situation when it is at angle theta 1 and theta 2. Okay. So here component we have to resolve along the x-axis and y-axis. So E1 sine theta 1, E1 cos theta 1. On the basis of that, we are able to write the tangential component as well as normal components. So equation 7 and equation 8, that ratio is going to give us here. That is also called as the law of reflection here from one medium to another medium. So it is law of refraction. And this is the conductor dielectric boundary condition. So earlier we have dielectric. So from this limiting case, you can obtain the another boundary condition also. So that is the conductor dielectric. So conductor means here electric field 0. So only we will apply for the medium 1. So here tangential component is equal to 0 and normal component is equal to rho s. Okay. So this is the simple again conductor free space. So conductor free space only a small difference is that in case of conductor we are taking epsilon equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. But in case of free space, we are taking epsilon equal to epsilon naught. Since epsilon r become 1 here. So this is the discussion about the electrostatic boundary conditions. It is also very, very important. Now magnetic boundary condition, this is also very important here. So by using this Gauss law, okay, B dot ds integral over the closed surface equal to 0 from the Ampere's law. Integral of the h dot dl over the closed path is equal to I. So similarly, like electrostatics, here also we have tangential component, normal component for the flux density as well as flux, that is the magnetic field intensity. So again here B1 and del S minus B2 and del S equal to 0 when del S tends to 0. So finally here normal component is conservative and B equal to mu H. On the basis of that this equation 4 is written. Now again in this situation you have path A, B, C, D, A. So over this path this cross shows that direction of the magnetic field is the inverse. Okay. And if you're moving against the field vectors, then you have to use the sign negative. If you're moving along the field vector, then sign is the positive. On the basis of that, we are getting K equal to H1T minus H2T. So now if K is going to be 0, then tangential component will become conservative, but that condition is required. So here in general, this tangential component is not continuous, it is the discontinuous. So this one again in terms of flux density, so B equal to mu H. And if K is going to become 0 at the boundary, so finally then tangential component will become equal. So again we are writing if that having at angle theta 1, theta 2, so then we can obtain here again law of refraction of the magnetic flux line. So similar discussion is there, okay, in case of electrostatic and magnetostatics. So a small change is there that you need to observe. These two questions are very important. Okay. So another questions we have important thing is the Faraday law. So Faraday law states that induced EMF, okay, in any closed circuit is equal to the time rate of change of the magnetic flux linkage by the circuits. So BMF equal to minus d lambda by dt equal to minus n d pi by dt. So this is the n is the number of terms here. So on the basis of that, we are able to obtain here. So this Faraday law is also very important in this case. So another important question is here about transformer EF is okay. This is also important. Very important is here for the midpoint of view inconsistency of the NPS law. Okay. So how NPS law is going to fail? So here we are going to include that concept of the displacement current. So finally we have del cross H equal to G. So now we'll apply the divergence of the curl of any vector is going to be 0. So this concept, as per the continuity equation already we have seen earlier. So del dot j equal to minus dou rho v by dou t, it cannot be equal to 0. So one equation here from equation 2, you are saying it is equal to 0. Equation 3 is saying it's not 0. So it is giving the contradiction. So finally, we have to include the new current density, that is the displacement current density. So del cross S equal to J plus JD. We have separate video for all these topics. Okay, you can watch there in the playlist or course is there. In that you can watch. Okay. So next we have, so we are going to substitute the value how to find the displacement current density. So del dot d by dt. So finally here, this is the displacement current density dou d by dou t. So this equation is the 6 is the displacement current density. So finally now we have del cross H equal to J plus dou D by dou T. So D is what here? Electric flux density and J is the conduction current density. So here how this is the Ampere's circuitry law fails, that due to that we have concept of the displacement current. So this part is important, inconsistent. Again, Maxwell equation, time varying fields. Okay, this table is also important. So these are the things from the magnetostatics. So here important question is what? Boundary conditions. Very, very important boundary conditions. You have Biot-Savart's law, then force due to magnetic field. Okay. So these are the important question in this part. And Ampere's circuitous law. So you can watch if you'll have, since I've gone in very fast, so we have separate lecture, you can watch that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.